Welcome to a Vanguard news video without the bullshit. Let's get started. This year's WGP will let participants get a promo pack consisting of frame rares of various ride lines introduced from DBT08 up to DBT12. Guessing that these ride lines won't get any update anytime soon. The top 8 players will get an alternate Art D-Series Perfect Guard for Stoicheia and Keta Sanctuary, while top 4 players will get an alternate Art Over Trigger for Dark States and Brandgate. And players who attend it can also buy the sleeves and play matte versions of these over triggers as well. This is the equivalent of telling players which are the best over triggers within the 6 nations without telling players which are the best over triggers within the 6 nations. Just when you thought Eugene was finally getting some love last week, Bushiroad decided to also give their new favorite child Gandiva new support that it didn't need it, as well as showing off a new ride line card for Draduald and Nino enlisting as a Dark State citizen in DBT12. After the school festival, Nino Nakano, when played by riding over the Quintessential quintuplets, makes you get a quintuplets memories crest. And while on the Guardian Circle, she gets 5k shields if your memory has 3 or more quintuplet cards with different names. So basically every grade 1 version of the quintuplet for their respective ride lines will have the same ability, like how they all had the same chance of being chosen that night. Honeymoon with everyone together. Nino Nakano, when placed by riding over a grade 1 quintuplet card, lets you put up to 1 quintuplet card to your memory from the top 7 cards of your deck. And once per turn while on rear guard, she gets 5k power when your quintuplet unit's attack did not hit. She gets 10k power instead if your memory has 5 or more different quintuplet cards. Funny how this card reflects Nino's urge of still trying to win, even though she already lost. The Quintessential quintuplets Nino Nakano, when placed on Vanguard, lets you choose up to 2 quintuplet cards from the top 7 cards of your deck, then add one of them to your hand and put the remaining card to your memory. While on Vanguard, she gets an extra critical if your memory has 6 or more quintuplet cards with different names. And once per turn while on Vanguard, you can pay 1 counter blast when her attack does not hit to stand herself, but her critical and drive check are set to 1. Compared to Ichika, this feels more balanced in a sense that she's the only one that benefits from her own continuous ability. And didn't a previous Talcon Ranbu card had the same Rastand ability? I'm too uninterested to double check. Opening Act Nino Nakano, when placed on rear guard during your main phase, lets you put up to 1 quintuplet card from the top 3 cards of your deck into your memory if your Vanguard is a quintuplet. And while on rear guard, she gets 2k power if your memory has 3 or more quintuplet cards with different names. Another Nino card that is on point with her card name and ability. Love is full speed ahead. Nino Nakano once per turn while on rear guard lets you pay 1 counter blast and putting a quintuplet card from your drop zone to the bottom of your deck when her attack does not hit. While your Vanguard is a Quintessential quintuplets Nino Nakano, to stand herself, then draw a card if your memory has 5 or more quintuplet cards with different names. Besides 2 big reasons why this card will be very expensive, I'm beginning to suspect that Ichika and Nino may have swapped nations during development, considering that Dark States is more known for guard restrict abilities, while Dragon Empire is more known for standing abilities. Memory of the School Festival Nino Nakano is a normal order card that can only be played if you have the Quintessential quintuplets Nino Nakano Vanguard. When played, choose up to 2 quintuplet cards from your drop zone, then put one of them to the bottom of your deck and putting the rest into your memory. Then you perform all these effects based on the number of quintuplet cards with different names in your memory. If you chose 1 or more cards, you call up to 1 quintuplet card from your drop zone and it gets 5k power. If you have 3 or more quintuplet cards with different names, countercharge 1 damage if you have 5 or more quintuplet cards with different names. And give your Vanguard a continuous ability that gives all your front row quintuplet rear guards 15k power if you have 7 or more quintuplet cards with different names. The fact that this order card makes the grade to rear guard Nino really good covers one of the reasons I mentioned. The other reason being boober artwork. Scarlet Flame Artillery Soldier R Sharp while on rear guard gets 2k power for each card in your bind zone when he attack or boost, but he gets retired at the end of battle if he gets 10k or more power. Did someone over at Bushiroad's R&D seriously thought that Gandiva's rear guards lacked power? This is the equivalent of putting more gas into an already full tank. Scarlet Flame War General Bravaldin, while in your deck, is also regarded as a grade 1 and 2 card when revealed by your Gandiva Vanguard's ability. And while on rear guard, you can bind a card in hand face down when he attacks a Vanguard, while you have a Gandiva Vanguard. To retire an opponent's rear guard, you draw a card, and he gets 5k power instead. If you did not retire with this ability, Bushiroad must have thought that they can still milk Gandiva players by making them replace Sterner with a new grade 3 triple rare. Purple Jeweled Beast Almethas when placed on rear guard or guardian circle lets you put 2 ride deck cards from your soul or drop zone back to your ride deck face up to countercharge 1 card if it was put on rear guard, or get 15k shields if it was put on the guardian circle. Why did they misspell amethyst? Is Bushiroad that afraid of being sued by Steven Universe's lawyers? I'm guessing Keta Sanctuary will be topaz, Stoicheia will be emerald, and Brandgate will be opal. I would try to guess Lyrical Monasteria, but they already have ruby and sapphire. And on a side note, players who like to keep changing their Vanguard to their 1 high rarity version when they ride, can no longer do so, since it will prevent them from using these cycle cards. Finally, time to make more Duma post on Twitter as DSS09 and 10's G unit and ride line encounter cards were revealed. For DSS09, Shiranui Mukuro will be their main G unit while Genkai, Seizen, and Madoi will be the ride line. Be honest, the only ones you recognized were Mukuro and Genkai, while Seizen and Madoi were very forgettable. For DSS10, Dragstrider Luard will be their main G unit while Lyrefail, Nice, and Root will be the ride line. Morfessa will obviously be a rear guard unit, since she's the Dark Magician girl to Luard's Dark Magician. And in case you can't afford the premium stride sets, the regular version will come with sleeves. Players that bought the Chronojet and Messiah deck sets feel the need to demand their local hobby shops for free sleeves of their respective deck sets. And that concludes this Vanguard news video. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments if there's an upsurge of players buying every Dark State staple cards just so they can play an Inno deck.